In this video, I'll be working through the question you see on the screen here. It's from the 2024 Leaving Cert exam Honours Level Paper 1. If you're looking for a different question from that paper, you should be able to find a playlist in the description below. I'll be doing all this on a whiteboard, hopefully so it's similar to what you're used to your teacher doing. But we're not in a classroom, we're on YouTube, so take advantage, pause, rewind, stop, rewatch, all those things you can do on YouTube. If you find this video useful or any of my videos, I would greatly appreciate a like, a subscribe, and what helps most is sharing it with a friend that's doing the Leaving Cert or one that's going to do it next year. In question 5, part A, they give us the first 3 terms of a arithmetic sequence. These 3 terms I've wrote up here. And they ask us to find the value of P. Now the important piece of information they give us that some students could have missed was the word arithmetic. Arithmetic means there's a common difference. So the same number is added to each of these, or added or take away. Added and take away are basically the same thing. So there's some common difference between these. And that's how we get the answer here. We notice that the second term, 7p minus 3, if we take away the first term from that, 2p plus 1, that's the difference between these two guys. And remember, it's common, the difference. The difference between these two is the same as the difference between these two. So we take the third guy, 6p plus 7, minus the second one. Remember, put these brackets in just in case so you don't lose minuses as you go on. So yeah, if we take the second one minus the first one, it has to be the same as the third one minus the second one. This would also work like second minus first should be equal 100th minus 99th. It's a common difference all through the sequence. That's why it's an arithmetic. That's why it's called arithmetic. And look what we have here. We have one equation with one unknown, P. There's no other letters in there. So we can just solve this. Let's clean it up. What are all the P's on the left? 5p minus 2p's is 3p. All the numbers, minus 3 minus another 1, minus 4. All the P's on the right, 6p minus 5p. All the numbers is minus gets it plus 3, so that's plus 10. All the P's on the left, we get 2p. All the numbers on the right, we get 14. P is equal to 7. Also, double check that. I haven't actually double checked it on my own. Put 7 in, we get 15. Put 7 in, we get, 35, 32. Put 7 in, we get, I'm in over my head here, 42, 49. 49. What's the common difference here? The difference here is 17. The difference between these two is 17. So it does work. You could stop here, by the way, that's all they asked you. Very common in this question would be to then ask you what is the common difference. And what I say, 17. It'd be very common to ask you then, find the 20th term, something like that. But this is all we needed for now. In part B then, we move on from arithmetic sequence to a geometric sequence. They tell us the 7th term is 6 and the 11th term is 3 over 8. A good rule of thumb here is if they tell you 2 things about a sequence you understand, like arithmetic or geometric, that's enough to figure it all out. So the first question they gave us 3 things, that was plenty to figure out. And this time they gave us 2 things, still plenty to figure out. So how do we do it? We use the formula this time because we have a little less information. So the formula for geometric sequence tells us that the nth term, let me just write it out. This will be in your maths tables, if I can see them. Here they are here. This is in your maths tables. You don't have to memorize this. It's equal to A. Have I memorized it is the question. A multiplied by O or n minus 1. Yeah, I don't have it written. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, good. So let's write these two guys in this form. So the 7th term, T7, is equal to the first term. Don't know it. Common ratio, don't know it. But I do know n. N is 7. 7 minus 1, that's just 6. But we also know the answer, equals 6. That's up here. And then T11 equals an to the power of 10. Remember, that's just n minus 1. 11 minus 1, 10. And we also know the answer, 3 over 8. Now what we have here is two equations, this one and this one, and two unknowns. We don't know A, we don't know OR, we don't know A, we don't know OR. That we can solve. A couple of ways to do this. Let me just show you how I would do it first, and then I'll show you both ways. So how I would do it is, I would think, right, I need to destroy A or. A looks easier. How I would destroy them, I would take this bottom guy, A times OR to the power 10, and divide it by the top one, A OR to the power 6. And if I do that on the left, I have to take the 3 over 8 and divide that by 6 as well. And that will actually just destroy the A's, and it'll get rid of a lot of the ORs for me. OR to the power 6 will go into this 4 times, or OR to the 4 times. The right hand side, let's see, divide by 6 is dividing 6 over 1. Turn it upside down, multiply it. That's 3 over, what's 6 eighths? 48, I believe. And does 3 go into 48? It does, it goes in 10 and another 6, yes, 16 times. Okay, so we're left with, let's jump up here, we're left with OR to the power 4 is equal 1 over 16. Before I go any further, let me show you another way. It would be very common to do this. Change this so it becomes A is equal to 6 divided by OR over 6. Change this guy so it becomes A is equal to 3 over 8, or 3 over 8 divided by, again, OR to the power 10. And then once you have A equals A, just put these two guys equal to each other. And well, let me do it here, because we'll get the same as this in a moment. 6 over OR to the 6 equals 3 over 8 OR to the 10. Start rearranging OR to the 10 up here maybe. Over OR to the 6, that 6 has to come down then. 3 over 48. And that becomes OR to the 4 is equal 1 to the 16. Same thing as we get here. Okay, what do we do next? Next thing, we just get OR is equal to 1 over 16 to the power of 1 over 4. And be very careful here. Some people probably get the answer 1 over 2. It's not. Once we do this, we plus or minus needs to come into it. Once we take the square power of an even number, so the square root, or the square, I can't think how to say it, to the power of 1 over 4 or 1 over 2, 1 over 6, a plus or minus is going to appear. And you can just double check back. Put 1 over 2 to the power 4, it's 1 over 16, and minus 1 over 2 to the power 4 is also 1 over 16. So these, and they told you there was 2 answers. Find the 2 possible answers for OR. So there's your 2 answers. OR is equal a half, or OR is equal minus a half. Okay, that's it for part B. Let me clean this off and we'll do part C. Okay, part C, as is quite common, is a tricky question. Nothing you can memorize. You really need to understand what's going on to answer it. So they give us a sequence of functions, not numbers, of actual functions. F0, F1, F2, F3, and so on. It continues on here. And they tell us what they all mean. F0 just means X. So F0 just means X to the power of 2024. Pretty big function. Next one's a bit more confusing. They tell us after that, when n is bigger than 1, so F1, F2, F3, everything else, they tell us the function Fn is a derivative of Fn minus 1. It's okay to be confused by that. I think a lot of students would have been. Just put in a number. Make up a number you want for n. Make up 4. And read that again. They tell us the function, let's do it over here. The function f4 is the derivative of fn minus 1, so 4 minus 1 of f3. So f4 is equal to the derivative dx, this guy. That's all they're saying. So to get a better example, instead of f4, how about f1? F1 is equal to the derivative of f0. So f1, how does that look? The derivative of this guy is equal to 2024 multiply x, and take 1 away from this. 23. What's the next one? The next one is the derivative again. And that's 2024 is still here. And now we multiply by this guy. 2023. Then by x, and we take 1 away from that. X to the 22. And actually that's part 1. They ask us to do this. They want F1, F2. If they wanted F3, we could do that as well. It's these two numbers, they get pretty big. 23 multiplied now by 2022 times x and take 1 away. 2021. They only ask for these two. Multiply these two numbers together. I don't know if they care. They probably don't, but I did it for you. It's on. You can do it on your calculator. Yeah, I'll squeeze it in here. This might not be right. My writing's pretty bad. 552. So what is that number? That's 4,094,552. These two numbers multiplied together. Yeah, that looks about right. 2,000 by 2,000 should be about 4 million. And that's it. That's it for part 1. This says going on though, and that's what part 2 says, you need to think about for it. In part 2, they say find the first value of n for which fn, so is it f4, is it f5, is it f6, when is it equal to 0? So if we stay going on here, basically when will we get 0? So that's the tricky question. I don't really know a good way to teach this because it's just a little puzzle, it's a little mystery that if you have to try and solve. So I'll just try and talk about what's happening and hopefully it will help you out. Hopefully you see that this number is getting bigger. First there was a 1 here. Then there was 2,000. Now there's 4 million. And this one's going to be even bigger again. It's going to be 2 times 4, about 8. 8 billion this number is going to be. The next guy is going to be about 16 trillion. The number's getting big in front. So let's just write that as ... Some number, some pretty big number. The next one's going to be x to the power of 2020. It's getting smaller. So this number is getting bigger and bigger. That's never going to be 0. So let's look at this next bit. Instead of f3, that's f4, isn't it? Let's skip down to the end. When's this guy going to get near 0? Let's skip down to. Let's make a bit of room here. So x to the power of 2, x to the power 1, x to the power 0. So it's going to be a really big number in front of this guy. So remember, we're going bigger and bigger here. F is going to be equals, and there's going to be some number here. Let's figure out what number's here. So F0 was 2024, F1 was 2023, F2 2022. Basically, if we take this number and take away from the original, we get this guy here. So this number, what takes away from 2024 to get 2? This must be 2022, 2023, F 2024. So if we answer the question, is this the answer here? Like a lot of students might have thought, oh, that's the answer, we got 0. No, they didn't ask x to the power 0. They asked about the whole function, this whole guy equaling 0. So look let me clean this up here. Look what this says. F 2024 is equal to a massive, massive number. A number so big your calculator, definitely your calculator won't handle. You'd have to use a computer really to handle this massive number. If you want to write it, it's actually, it would be 2024 factorial, which I think your calculator gives up after, I think it's like, is it 20 factorial or something like that? Your calculator just say, no, too big for me. So imagine how big this number is. It's massive. This is a massive number. What's this number? X to the power 1, we don't know, it depends what x is. Maybe x is 0 and we're finished. But I don't know what that is. X to the power 0 though, I do know what that is. Any number to the power 0 just becomes 1. So we have a really big number multiplied by 1. Still a big number. This is not equal to 0. I'll even write that here. Not equal to 0. That's not your answer. But what's the next guy? F 2025. Remember, it's the derivative of this. There's no x here anymore. The x's are gone. It was x to the power of 0. There's no more x. The derivative of any number is 0, and that's your answer. So what's the value of n 2025? F 2025 is equal to 0. That's the first time it's equal to 0. So is everything else, by the way. F 2026 is also 0. But they ask for the first time it happens, and that's here. Okay, I hope that helped you understand part C. I couldn't really do any real maths there, but hopefully you got some understanding out of it. If you have any further questions for part C or B or A or any corrections, please let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.